It is not even 10 a.m. on a Friday. We're going to do a morning unboxing because I feel like garbage and plants make me feel better. This has been sitting here since yesterday, but it was gloomy and depressing. So I held off until today, and I'm kind of glad I did because it's still chilly, but the sun's at least shining, and it's like perfect to be out here right now. Oh my gosh, she sent me two! Alright. See, I feel like that's good karma, right? That's like good juju floating around. After I just said how crappy I felt to open this, and she sent me two. Completely unnecessary, completely made my day, completely made me feel better. Okay, this is pretty dang cool. I can't believe she sent me two. Alright, she's getting a review. This is a Haworthia. I'm going to stand over here because I think it makes the video lighter. This is a succulent. This is a Haworthia. Haworthia are fairly common. A lot of times you'll see Haworthia. I think they're zebra Haworthia that you'll see, but they almost look like tiny aloe, and they have like raised white bumps and patterns on them. There are other types of Haworthia that have the clear windows on top, and I'm sure you guys have seen some of those too in big box stores. This is one of the clear window types. Now, he looks a little dried out. Maybe that's why she sent me two. So once I give him water and he plumpens up in a couple days, I'll post a picture of him so you can see what he's supposed to look like in all of his glory. But let me show you a close-up shot. Still can't believe she sent me two. What a sweetheart. Okay, these are what is called Haworthia. Oh, let's move you over here. Haworthia Truncata with a T. Haworthia Truncata Hokusai. It's a Japanese word. From what I read, they think the Hokusai came from the, like a reference to the Japanese artist. Perhaps because when these are plumpened up, these windows on top, they kind of have cool washy patterns in them. Kind of look like paint patterns. Okay, so Haworthia Truncata Hokusai. That's what this guy is. And yes, he has those clear windows on top. There are other Haworthia, like I said, that have completely clear leaves or clear windows on top. I have this other one sitting here to show you. This is one of the more common ones. One of the more common Haworthia. Hey, calm down. One of the more common Haworthia that you'll see in big box stores that has the windows. And this one, this is Haworthia retusa. You can see the clear windows are only on the leaf tips. And that's actually an adaptation. It's a brain farting on the word. That's an adaptation because some of these Haworthia actually grow in shadier areas, and by having those clear windows on all of their leaves, the tips of the leaves, whatever, the light is able to penetrate deeper into the leaf because it has that clear window. So we're going to pot up for fun these Haworthia Truncata Hokusai. Now, I did bring out several pots because I wasn't sure how big it would be. Now that I see there are two, I mean, the roots still aren't. It's not like they're taking up a lot of space. And remember, I always say the bigger the pot, the more dirt, the better chance for root rot. So we don't want to go too big of a pot. I think we're actually going to use this dark green pot that I got on clearance at Big Lots when it closed the first time. So let's do a 10 a.m. potting just for fun. I've said this before, but this is how I always measure how much soil, how much perlite. I basically make a mix of everything in the pot that I'm going to use. So I'm putting a little potting soil, about 3/4, let's say. I'm going to add some regular perlite. If these were bigger, I'd use my big, fat, extra chunky perlite, but those chunks of perlite, the big ones, would take up most of the pot, so we're not going to do that. Let's see. We're going to add a couple scoops of extra coarse. What the heck is this? That's the problem with doing it in the morning. I'm like not with it. Extra coarse sand. That just helps with drainage, just like the perlite. And then, for you know what's in giggles, because it's sitting right here, we're going to add some worm crap. Because we all know worm crap, or worm casings, as they're calling this, is good for the soil. So, soil, perlite, coarse sand, worm crap. That's what we're putting in here. I'm going to use my handy dandy pie scraper, mix it all up. This is my favorite part. Not only can you smell it, but something about flopping everything around and incorporating it all together to like an even mix is just very satisfying. Okay. I always put a little in the bottom first so the roots aren't touching the bottom of the pot. And these are long roots, so let's keep checking. More. All right. Now, these are going to be kind of tricky to fill in because I don't want to get dirt down in those cool leaves. So maybe we'll fill in around this first one, and then we'll put this guy in there. I know it looks kind of tight, but you want to base your pot size on the root mass, not on the size of the plant. If we were basing it on the size of the plant, we would be using a pot that was too big. So this might actually be perfect because you guys saw those roots are almost kind of leggy looking, like they're very long. So the fact that this pot is narrow but also tall may just be perfect for Mr. Haworthia Truncata Hokusai. Almost done. Ooh, he's cool looking. Now I will say while I finish doing this, there are variegated forms of this. We're going to trim off this one dead leaf. There are variegated forms of this, and they're pretty cool. They're also pretty pricey. But the variegated forms, the size of the leaves, where it's normally just all green right there, the variegated ones have strips of color, like stripes of white and orange. They're pretty cool, but they are not a cheap date. Those variegated ones, for a little plant like this, start around $60-$70. So, needless to say, today we just got the regular Truncata Hokusai. We'll save the variegated one for another day when I'm feeling more frivolous. All right. Now, I will also say while I'm doing this, I'm going to brush that dirt off of him I got on him. I will also say that just like I went through a Hoya phase and then I went through a brief agave phase, I'm kind of feeling like I may be starting to go through a Haworthia phase. And I don't mean all Haworthia. I mean specifically the ones with the clear windows, because there's just something really cool about being able to look in there and see not necessarily the water, but let's call it like the flesh, like the insides, the innards of the plant. That's very cool to me. So I actually have another different type of Haworthia that has clear leaves, it's in shipping right now. So hopefully we'll be doing the unboxing for the other windowed Haworthia at the beginning of the week. But for now, like I said, here's this guy. He's pretty easy to find. You can see his clear windows now that the sun's shining in better. Haworthia retusa. And the one we just unboxed, this crazy looking guy that she sent me doubles of, Haworthia Truncata Hokusai.